So hello everyone, I am Sudhanshu back again with the new second book, that is Indian Economic Development. And today we are here with the first chapter, that is Indian economy on the eve of independence. Since we all assume that it is basically a historical concept that we are going to see, we are going to analyze, and we often found it quite boring. But do you ever analyze that what is the basic difference between at present that we are having under the lockdown and the way we used to live in 1920s, 1910 and before 1900? Since at that time there was a colonial rule over India by Britishers, here we are totally independent, we are having a democratic government that lies in India. So this chapter is really of vital importance, that we come to know that what was the state of Indian economy at the dawn of independence, and before the arrival of Britishers, what was the state of ours, after the arrival of Britishers, why they conquer us, why they ruled over us 200 years, and what was the state after they left India. So if we talk about basic thing, in brief what we have produced to you, that before British arrival, India was used to be a very prosperous economy. India was deemed to be ruled as golden sparrow. There lies gold everywhere. We don't used to hate either. We don't used to have any greed or jealousy from anyone. Whatever be the princely state or a kingdom that was used to be in India, that were having a very great concern or a kind concern to the people at large. We used to deal with the barter system at that time, where commodity used to be exchanged with the commodity, and the economy was completely agriculture. There was basically no issues with respect to any competition. The students were used to go, or children were used to go to the gurukuls for their basic education. Right now, the education system that we are having these days, it's totally basically competitive and comparison based. We never ever realize what is the basically interest of the children, what is the interest of the student that we need to cater out. But we are just running in the race of the competition, we just need to get top. Again and again, every time and every stream, every other higher qualification, we used to feel that we must get a higher percentage, we must get higher job, we must get a higher remuneration, we must get a higher status in the life. Just because of this greed, because of this competition level, comparison level, we are just ending ourselves with getting nothing. So, if we talk about before British arrival, India was deemed to be a highly prosperous economy, and when the British arrived, they see and felt into India that why and how the people can live so free, with so humbleness, with so gratitudeness, and with so love and affection that is getting all around the corners. India has been deemed to be a great bundle and bulk of resources in all aspects. Let it be human resource, let it be your natural resource, right? Whatever the resources that are available in India that are in bulk, and that what attracts every other nation to work into India. Then after the British arrival, there comes a sudden change in the economy of India. India has undergone a lot of colonial rule. There was a restriction of a social, economic and political rule. People were restricted to move out freely. People were restricted to even talk, even follow their custom, right? It means they cannot make an argument. They need to told to produce whatever the British would desire to produce from them. They were not at all even required to put their talks in front of or request in front of the Britishers also. It means India was under a zone of miserability and suffering. There was no mercy at all for them. So after British arrival, India was under the colonial rule for over 200 years, become backward and stagnant in all respects. See, students, if we study Indian economy as a whole, we can see India can be studied from 6 aspect point of view. One from agriculture, that was basically we told you that India was deemed to be an agrarian economy. Second, with respect to industrial sector, we can study Indian economy. Third, with the foreign sector, we can study economy. Then from infrastructure, occupational structure, and the sixth one is demographic structure point of view, we can study Indian economy. And to your knowledge, all these 6 segments were totally backward and stagnant with respect to Indian economy, because the Britishers have exploited each and every corner of India to their own interest for their own selfish needs. So we can say all sector areas and people suffered, and there was a drain of resources for fulfilling the benefits of Britishers as a whole. What we need to understand, student, that when we are here in today's life, I always told to the person, always told to students, and always told to you all also, that we are in a state of great comfort zone. Since we are living in a democratic country where there are very least possible restrictions, even still we are complaining in day-to-day our life that we should not. We must lead our India to a growth and prosperous economy like we used to be in 200, 300, 400 years ago. We need to make India again a golden sparrow. We need to build our India into a very healthy state. Even today, we are proud to say that we are having the least possible coronavirus cases. But still, there is an issue that some elements of the society are just spreading the differences among religions also, among people also. That should be avoided. That's why that is the main concern why the Britishers have followed divide and rule, and they made our India as a colony. It didn't take much time for the Britishers to make India as a colony, since after the Battle of Plassey that was undertaken between Britishers and Sirajuddin Daulah, right? And when in 1757 we lost the final battle of this, India became a colony completely from all round corners. So, if we regard to see the features of Indian economy, we can see the features of economy can be viewable from these sources. First of all, there was stagnant growth. It means people were very least employed, since there was a massive poverty, massive unemployment, all these factors contributing, all the regions, demographic, industrial, agriculture was totally depleted and destroyed by Britishers. So there was stagnant growth, means there was zero rise in the per capita income, or we can say standard of living, and the epidemics and starvation were on the rise. It means still now we can say we are in the state of pandemic. It means here we can say the global economy is on crisis. And if we say India again we are in the state of less than 1% GDP growth. We can easily facilitate the comparison between today's arena and the arena that we had in 1947 or 1940s or 1930s. Then, if we talk about the backward economy, that means India had a backward economy because there was a rise in poor, insufficient basic amenities. It means we even didn't have a proper meal to facilitate one time a day. कहते हैं ना, दो वक्त का खाना भी नहीं मिल पाता था, पहनने के लिए अच्छे कपड़े नहीं मिल पाते थे, क्योंकि इंडिया के लोग बहुत ज़्यादा गरीब थे. गरीब क्यों थे? Because everything has been looted out by in the hands of Britishers. So there was a backwardness still. When we say there was an irony that 85% of the total population was employed in agriculture area, agriculture sector. Even then we had a very low productivity and production in the field of agriculture. Since we were not having high yielding variety of seeds, we were not having any harvesting tool to facilitate a good amount of crop in early span of time. Since we need to wait or depend on the heavy rainfall, that अगर हमें बरसात देंगे तभी हमारा खेत फलेगा फूलेगा. It means there was a great dependency on our custom. We used to depend superstitiously on the monsoon. So there was, again we can say, agriculture backwardness, since there was a massive employment of Indian population over it, resulting in low productivity production. Then there was industrial backwardness, since the world famous handicraft industry was completely destroyed by Britishers. Since Britishers found that our Indian based handicraft product was famous in all regions of the world, people used to purchase in bulk from India, and whenever an Indian used to export anywhere, people used to buy it. Even today many foreign tourists used to come and arrive in Jaipur at Hawa Mahal and various regions of the Jaipur, and used to purchase handicraft items because they found it very attractive. So it was valuable for the handicraft industry, and since the Britishers have made the exports, made the heavy duty on the exports, and they just relaxed the duty on import, leading to the discriminatory policies followed over industrial sector, lead to the backwardness of the industries and drain or destroy the handicraft industry. We have suffered a lot, still we can say there was a less or least possible use of the capital intensive goods or capital good industry that was also leading to a basic segment of the industrial backwardness. Then rampant poverty means rampant poverty was caused due to widespread unemployment as well as a massive illiteracy. See, so we can realize that when people were not educated, they were used to be employed themselves disguisedly in agriculture. As I told you that there was 85% population employed in agriculture sector and around 10% population was hardly employed in industrial sector. So basically it was due to the lack of education, lack of employment opportunities that were leading to the more rising level of poverty. So poor infrastructure, it means there was a very less development of road, bridges, dams, flyovers. We today used to see that we are having aerodromes, airports, metro trains, bullet trains. Fine. We used to see all these high-end technological ways to move out from one place to another. Recently, I have heard the news that during the first lockdown, people have moved out. The migrant workers, जिसको हम प्रवासी मजदूर कहते हैं, जो अपना घर छोड़ के दूसरे शहर में काम करते हैं, they have nothing to do with it because their employment has been snatched away during this lockdown. Now they started moving by themselves on their bare foot, क्योंकि ना बस चल रही थी, ना railways थे, nothing was being there for the transportation system. So a girl who traveled 1200 kilometers by foot, she died before reaching the house, and she was just 14 kilometers away from her house. There was a person who pulled his rickshaw for over 1000 kilometers and then used to travel from one state to another. This was the misery that we have seen. And this is not a one case, there is a potentially a large amount of cases that we have seen in all parts of India. It means so useful for us that we are having the means of transportation system in India, and as and when the lockdown of the coronavirus will get over, people used to see the means of transportation coming in their ways. But if we talk about the infrastructure at the time of independence and before independence, there was hardly any development of road, bridges, dams, flyovers or any transportation system except railways and communication. So we can say with the least use of capital capital industry that was responsible for poor infrastructure, and that there was a very least role of the government. Now, heavy dependence on import. Every time we used to import the British-made goods and used to export the raw material from India. Raw material of India was exported in a cheap rate, and we used to import the British products at a very high rate. That leading to again our Indian economy to more backward and stable. Then it also leads to Western culture of our India, because in India we used to wear only dhoti, kurta, pajama. But with the arrival of British product, they have introduced shirts, trousers, suits and skirts, as we can see. So we can say due to heavy dependence on imports, we used to get away from the handicraft product or handloom product that were implemented in India by the people of India. Limited urbanization. Almost 14% of the urbanization has been found in India, and with that level of urbanization, that was not sufficient to cater the standard of living to be very good. Still, we can say near about 86% of the India was just below, or sorry, just above or on the poverty line. So misery was there in India. Now, with respect to semi-feudal economic system, we can say there was a land-tenant relationship that British enterprises ruled. Between semi-feudal is deemed to be the role of basically socialist system society also and capitalist system of society also. The semi-feudal economic system then was applied by the British rule, where the tenant was under the landlord or zamindar, and he used to work upon it and used to get whatever the zamindar can give him for his survival and his family. Now, if we talk about the colonial rule, it means I told you earlier the colonial rule restricted the economic, social, political relations. It means there was a complete restriction to the Indian before the dawn of independence, and that led to the emergence of India to get freedom anyhow. Until we were free, we were used to abide by all the restrictions, we used to undertake and follow all the superstitions, and we were used to live in every orthodox measure that were implemented in India. That's the main reason, student, why India has lagged behind from many countries' economy, preferably Japan, China, Korea. India had every best possible means of resources. If India can they can supersede from every other country, even US. Since India has the biggest brain power and it can lead to the forefront of and it can beat every other nation and lead our India to be the best country in the world. That's why even today every country feels that India has the biggest potential and it is the biggest market where a commodity of just 50 paisa to 100 crore can be sold out. Right? So basically, this is the introduction of Indian economy on the year of independence. I am sure that this will be very relevant for you. In the next session, we will be continuing from this segment and we will be discussing the 6 important segments of the Indian economy that were leading to the Indian economy as backward and stagnant. So we are going to study in the next session from the viewpoint of the 6th segment that I told you, that one is agriculture, second is industrial sector, then foreign sector, then infra, demographic and occupational structure. From this segment, we will be seeing the second session. Till then, thank you so much, students. Stay safe, stay happy and stay healthy and keep watching our videos and lectures. Thank you so much, students. See you.